Hey everyone, Michelle here, and I am with you today with a process video for my creative scrapbook. Now, this is using the April limited edition kit, and so this month's kit is primarily simple vintage flower shop. And so I have this page here that has the butterflies going up the side, and this is a picture of my husband and I. This is actually our wedding day. We had a bit of a runaway wedding just for the two of us at Key West, and this was like 25 years ago. I have yet to scrapbook most of these pictures, so I thought I would do this one. The kit has lovely flowers in it, so these, as well as the mesh style, and then another style that I'm probably not going to use on this layout, but still up in the air as far as what I am going to do. There is, the cut file that comes with the kit. I might use that, or I might just focus on maybe fussy cutting some butterflies and just having it be a lot of pretty butterflies. So we will see what happens. So let's begin.
So, as some of you know, I am a wood grain fan, and so I love butterflies, but I want the main background to be the wood grain. So, I did slice the butterflies off of that pattern paper and flipped it around, and I'm going to have the butterflies on the right. Now, I am going to mat that section up a bit, so I have pink on either side, and then I'm going to have the teal plaid on either side, and then I'm going to put the whole thing on the yellow goldish floral. Now, I know it sounds like a lot of paper, but as you can see with that teal plaid strips that I have there, I did primarily just use strips to create this. And I am inking it all with gathered twig. That is the brown that I'm using for any of the inking that I am doing with this month's kit. It is kind of a cooler brown, which felt like it worked well with this Simple Stories vintage flower shop, I should say, line. And so I did also take it to my sewing machine and just sewed in white between that plaid and the pink. And I also mounted it on foam. And yeah, so it has a little bit of height. I did that because I know I'm going to use some dimensional flowers next to it. And so that helps give them a place to sit. I'm also going to probably put this layout in a shadow box. I don't have any of our wedding pictures currently in shadow boxes, so I think I'm going to use this one. And so you can see there, I am adding some foam to lift that up. And I'm also using this, of course, because I did slice this paper to get those butterflies. And so this will help build around that strip to help tie it all together and make it 12 by 12. So I'm almost done with this portion. And what I am using, I know how much I talk about it in my creative scrapbook videos, but I do use my Sweet Petunia glue gun quite a bit. So you saw the lid to it a few seconds ago. That's what reminded me. And it comes with both a regular tip and a fine tip. And so I have really enjoyed using that glue gun. So I highly recommend it. So I'm going to mount my photo and I'm going to try to keep it all relatively even, the mat on all sides with the different papers that I use. So I'm going to use white, going to use that teal plaid, and I am going to use pink. to match my photo. I want to do some sort of a little bit of mixed media, and so I pull out this kind of woven texture looking stencil, and I am going to apply just white texture paste down to the left and then to the upper right. And you can see I'm just using just a little bit of the wood grain because I haven't adhered everything together quite yet. So I really get a lot of use out of this stencil. I like a real basic textured stencil that you can use with so many different things. And so that has now dried, and I think I'm just going to take a quick look and see how it is all coming together so far, and decide if I want to do more or if I am good with that. So I'm taking a look. These are some of the butterflies I cut out of the patterned paper. So I'm kind of scattering them around and getting an idea of how I want those to look. Now I have this little heart stamp, and so I'm just applying that in the areas that I'm going to do some embellishments. And then I decide to add a little bit of color to those mesh areas because they were blending in quite a bit and I did want it to show a little bit more. Now, I did not gesso this paper, so I add a tiny bit of water, but I don't want to add too much. And so I kind of wish I had gessoed it so I could lighten it up with water a little bit more, but it's fine. And I really like the color. And I believe it was peacock feathers. And a lot of it gets covered up anyway, as you can see right there. I covered up a lot of that upper portion. And so that tag might move over a little bit. So just a hint of it is going to show. So I am taking a look. Oh, so I wanted something for my flowers to rest on. And so I did have a Viewmaster reel die in my stash. And so I cut it out in pink. And so I'm going to use half of it up at the top and then half of it down below. So I'm adding some of my dimensional flowers, and so you can see I'm like resting them right up against that piece of the butterflies to the side, and that is helping give them support, particularly that one between my matted photo and the strip. So it has lots of support on both sides. And then I'm going to add some butterflies and some flowers, a little word sentiment that says sweet. And I have that now, True Confessions, you'll see that scallop piece down below. I did a lot of this and realized that my camera was off. And so I took a picture and peeled a lot of it off and am recreating my work. But that scallop piece was glued down. So that's okay. That helps remind me that um, you have to you have to have your camera on. This it doesn't do much good if you're not filming. So I was able to recreate it for the most part. So I'm adding that viewfinder down below, a few more butterflies, that little blue butterfly down below. That was off the side of the paper, but that, is fine. I was able to do it just off the side here, and so it didn't matter that it wasn't whole. Now, that pink butterfly was from the other style. I said I didn't really talk about it much in the intro. And so it was from the group that has the really um, high peaks. And so I thought about using the coral in here because I this is going in a shadow box. Um, but even it just they're pretty high. And so I did soften up the tip of it quite a bit, you can see there, and I cut off the top, I don't know, maybe quarter of an inch of the flower, just so it wasn't quite so high. So remember, the flowers are something that you can manipulate and make what you want them to be, just like you do with pattern paper or embellishments, where you might, cut the flower off the boot, all of that type of stuff. Make them your own. And so I am adding a few more little pieces. I'm going to add that bloom word phrase, might add another tab or two, and I am going to add a few crystals to my flowers. They are more like they are like dewdrops. They're clear, and so I add those on some of my flowers. And I think other than that, I don't think I do any splattering on this layout. So this is getting pretty close to being done. Oh, I do some word sentiments that match the butterflies down the side. So other than that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support, and any likes or subscribes. Check out my creative scrapbook. Link is in the description, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you, everyone.